Yo, it's your boy Jay Best and your boy Tyrell. Welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 3, episode 20. First and foremost, I pray that y'all had a blessed and safe Thanksgiving. Spend time with the fam, had some good food. Let's go ahead and let's get back to work. All right. So first, we're gonna do our no huddle segment. We're gonna talk about a couple quick topics. Then we're gonna move on to our week 13 bets and our week 13 picks. But I almost forgot to do it. That's crazy. I want to thank God for waking me up this morning, waking us up this morning, allowing us to talk about sports, which is something that we love to do. And without him, we wouldn't be here right now. You ready to go?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, I know huddle segment. First off, we got Matt Eberflus was fired the day after Thanksgiving, right after the loss to the Lions, 23-20. Okay, they had 6 straight losses, and in 3 seasons, he is 14-32 with this team. We all know why he got fired though, because of how that game went at the end when he did not call the timeout. 30 seconds left, right? They didn't run a play, and they didn't get the barely got the play off, and could have kicked the field goal if they called a timeout. So Tyrell, your reaction to him being fired?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think it was just a time coming. He should have been fired last year, but they just got it done now instead of waiting to the off season. Um, they lost 4 games by just bizarre plays happening at the end of the game. So I think he lost the locker room when I don't know if you saw, but DJ Moore was saying, I don't know why we didn't call a timeout. Caleb Williams was saying, I thought we were gonna call a timeout. Everybody thought they were gonna call a timeout. So it's 100% on him. And I think everybody knows with me just playing Madden and playing football in real life, once you take a sack, like you can't take a sack whenever the time's dying down. But once you do take a sack, you have to call a timeout. You have
Yeah.
to.
Yeah, and I think if you would call a timeout, first of all, if you're playing to try to get a playoff, then cool. But once you saw that your team was moving too slow, once you saw that the time was running down, just step up and call a timeout. Right? Then you might have a chance to get one play in, quick spike, because you only need like 4 yards to get field goal range. So all you have to do is run a quick play, spike it, get a field goal. But instead, you literally watch the clock go all the way down. It's like 2 seconds, 3 seconds before you snap the ball, which is bad. So Matt Eberflus, like you said, they lost a lot of games very close. Right, the Packers was a blocked field goal against the Vikings. They went to overtime, and then like they lost these close games to good teams. But that was the icing on the cake. You can't lose the game like that at the end, especially when you have a chance to beat a really good team like the Lions. You can't do that. He literally sat there and watched the clock go down. Like you just can't do that. So for that, he's fired. Like I said, 14-32 in 3 seasons, bro. Like you can't. What you don't have anything for me to say that you should say. You know what I'm saying? And with that offense, with those weapons, they got to find an offensive minded coach. Somebody from the Sean McVay tree, somebody from the Kyle Shanahan tree, so they can get the ball to these weapons and be successful. Because to me, Caleb Williams looked good in the second half. He looked really good. So Caleb has that potential. Go find a coach that can help him out. All right. Next, the Cowboys defeated the Giants on Thanksgiving 27-20. And Michael Parsons came out and said that the Cowboys can make a run. All right. Tyrell, your reaction to this?
I think Michael Parsons is delusional. I think that they beat a Washington Commanders team that you know is a division game, so it's always going to be hard no matter what. So I think they lost a gimme game right there. Then they came and beat the Giants. The Giants is one of the only teams they beat in the season. So the Giants are a really bad team. Everybody knows that. They were down to their third string quarterback. They were trying out Drew Lock. So I think Michael Parsons is just definitely delusional. I don't know what he's talking about.
Extremely delusional. Look, I understand, right? When you play for a team, you always want to be optimistic, right? You always want to believe that y'all are good no matter what the record says. But Micah, y'all just beat, like you said, a Commanders team that I called out to be frauds. When it was 8-2 or whatever their record was, 7-2, 6-2, whatever it was, I said they're frauds and they're gonna fall eventually. They have lost like 3 straight games since, or 4 straight games. Ever since I said that. Then you come and you beat it actually in that game with the Commanders. I don't know if you saw it, but they missed the extra point at the end of the game to go to overtime. So that game could have went to overtime. They could have won that game. Secondly, you go against the Giants without not even Daniel Jones, not Tommy DeVito, but Drew Lock, their third string quarterback. Y'all beat them by 7 points, and you think that y'all gonna make a run because y'all beat those two teams. Like, come on, bro. That is sick. It is sick that he really sat there and said that they think they can make a run. Like, come on, man. But that is like you said it's not gonna happen. I'm saying it's definitely not gonna happen. All right. Next on Thanksgiving, we saw the Dolphins go down to Lambeau against the Green Bay Packers, and they lost that game. Tua is now 0-8 when the temperature is 45 degrees or less. Your reaction to that?
Um. So yeah, 100%. I think everybody knows too is he's not a cold guy. Like he's never had to play cold weather games in his whole football, high school, college, any career. He's never had to play cold football games. And I just think it doesn't only fall on him. I think the whole Dolphins organization, all of them, because Miami's a really hot place. It's always hot all year round, so they never really experience cold front. So I just think all of Miami, the whole team in general, they just weren't ready for the cold game at all. Because if you were watching, nobody wanted to tackle, nobody wanted to catch the ball, nobody wanted to block. It just the whole team looked bad.
100%. And I agree with that. And this goes back to you paid Tua all that money to be a franchise quarterback. A franchise quarterback can not only be good when the weather is warm. Like that's not a franchise QB. You got to be good when it's hot, when it's cold, when it's raining, when it's snowing. I need you to be good at all phases. So Tua, you're telling me that you're only good whenever it's warm outside because you're 0-8 whenever it's cold. Like to me, that's not a franchise QB, and this is another reason why I don't believe in Tua. Because guess who's in his division alone, right? You got the Bills, you got the Patriots, you got the Jets. Those are all cold teams. So imagine division on the line at the end of the season, and you're playing the Jets the last game, or the Patriots, or the Bills the last game of the season, and it's cold outside. Y'all gonna lose? Like that's not to me. That's not a franchise QB. So Tua, this is proving why I came out and said he shouldn't have got paid the way he did, and he should not be a franchise. He can be like a bridge quarterback. That's how I see Tua. I think Tua can be a bridge quarterback for organizations that think they're ready. They can throw him in there, instead of drafting a quarterback. But he's not a franchise guy, and this proves my point right here. All right, and last but not least, on Black Friday, which was yesterday, the Raiders collapsed versus the Chiefs at the end of the game. They lost 19-17. They fumbled a snap in the final seconds. And the referees blew the whistle. They thought it was a fault. Well, it should have been a false start because one of the refs was actually calling the play dead, right? But then they talked about it, turned to illegal shift. Illegal shift means the play continues. They fumbled, the Chiefs get it and win the game. Right, the Chiefs have won 14 straight one possession games. Can they keep this up?
I think they definitely can keep it up 100%. And that's just because I just know who their quarterback is. I know who their coach is, and I just know the type of players they have around him. But to go back on the collapse that you were talking about, I feel like once you hear the whistle, once anybody hears the whistle, the play should just be blown dead. So regardless that they let the play go on, you have to revert that all the way back to third down. You know what I'm saying? You can't have that play continue and people heard a whistle because anybody on the field, everybody is taught once you hear a whistle, stop. So it's just that was just crazy. I really feel for Antonio Pierce. That's your boy over there in Las Vegas. So I really feel for him. But yes, I 100% do think the Chiefs can continue to do this just because anytime it does come down to a one possession game, Patrick Mahomes should step up and go make a play.
Yeah, I respect everything you just said. I do. But this year, I'm looking at the big picture here, right? Not just the Chiefs, but this year I've seen the refs screw up so many games. Like it's getting out of hand. If I don't know if this is how they conduct things, but it should be after every single game. Gene Steratore down in New York, the head of the referee committee, right? He should grade every single game the referees do. If you get a C or less, you should be like a week without pay, some kind of punishment, so that they know that they calls matter. They calls really do affect games. I feel like referees been blowing games all year. We saw in the Vikings game against the Rams. They missed the face mask at the end of the game. All right, we seen missing pass interference calls. We saw last week when the Cleveland Browns played the Steelers. We saw that trash that they called at the end of the game, which was the illegal touching versus the intentional grounding. And then this week, the referee blew the play dead. He's literally, you can see him running on the field, blowing the play dead. They still ran it, and then they're gonna change the call to illegal shift so that it can still be a fumble, and the Chiefs win. But everybody out there saying the league is rigged, I don't blame you. I'm not gonna lie. At first, I was like, remember you used to say that back in the day, and I used to be like, Tyrell, stop saying that, bro. Like, that's not cool. But now I don't care no more. You can say whatever you want because this is ridiculous. Honest, it's like at the end of every Chiefs game, something crazy happens. Crazy. And it has to do with the referees. So for people that believe that, hey, I don't blame you. I can't say that because I'm doing the podcast, right? What's the point of me saying and then still talking about football? So that's my reaction to that. All right. Let's move on to our week 13 bets. Last week, me and Tyrell, we was off and on, right? Tyrell was 5-0 the week before, but he didn't go 5-0 last week. So let's try and get back on track. All right. Who's your first prop?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So my first prop is CJ Stroud for less than one INT. So I don't know if you guys been watching. CJ Stroud hasn't been playing too good the last 3 weeks, but trust me, I know CJ Stroud, and he's not the type of quarterback to just continuously turn the ball over. He's really, really clean with his game. He's really, really smart with all his decisions. So I 100% know that he's not throwing an INT this week.
All right, I like that. Look, I believe if it's not broke, then don't fix it. All right, I'm going with AJ Brown over receiving yards, which I see at 88 and a half. I think I checked it again today and it was at 89 and a half. AJ Brown's going against the Ravens. I've talked about this every single week we start doing this bet segment that you should always attack the number one target for a team going against the Ravens. All right. Last week Ravens played the Chargers. Lad McConkey had 83 yards. All right, the week before that, George Pickens had 89 yards. The week before that, Jamar Chase 200 plus. Cortland Sutton 122. Cedric Tillman, who's not really a number one receiver, had 99 yards. So this is showing you that this defense will give up yards to playmakers. AJ Brown is probably the best receiver outside of Jamar Chase that I named in that whole entire list. So best believe he's going to smash this line, and you can even up it to 100 yards. That's how confident I am that AJ Brown will have a big game. And I don't think Devontae Smith is playing, which means that all the targets will be going to AJ Brown. So go ahead and lock that in. All right, who you got next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So I got Bucky Irvin over down there in Tampa. I got him for over 58.5 rushing yards against the Carolina Panthers. You go ahead and do your homework. The Carolina Panthers have the worst rushing defense in the NFL. They give
Mm-hmm.
up the most amount of points to running backs in the NFL. So go ahead, smash Bucky Irvin over 58.5. And me personally, I think it'll be a blowout. So I think you could also go ahead and smash Rashad White to rushing yards.
Okay, I like that. Actually, I peeped that earlier. I ain't gonna lie, I peeped that one, so I really like that pick. Next, I'm going with George Pickens over receiving yards against the Cincinnati Bengals. All right, it's at 71 and a half. I think it's pretty low for a guy that averages 15 yards a catch. All right, we're talking about one deep ball because he's a great deep ball receiver. One deep ball, and he's already halfway through this line. All right, in 5 straight games, the Bengals have allowed an 80 plus yard receiver. So it's kind of like the Ravens one. I'm going against a defense that isn't really that good when it comes to the pass. All right, including Jacoby Myers, who had a big game against them, and including Tylan Wallace for the Ravens. I'm sure nobody knows who that is. He had 3 catches for 99 yards or something like that. So players can make big plays against this Cincinnati secondary. Why not take a big playmaker in George Pickens, and his line is low at 71 and a half. Go ahead and lock that in. All right. Who you got next?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So the next thing I have is Nico Collins over 86.5 receiving yards. So Nico Collins has went over 86 receiving yards every single game this year that he's finished, besides the Dallas game, which he should have finished with 110 yards because I know you
Right.
remember 80-yard bomb they took back. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So every single game he's finished over 86 yards. Nico Collins to me has been the best receiver in the league this year when healthy. So I think he's just going to continue to get open. So Nico Collins, 86.5 receiving yards. Smash that.
Yeah, I like that, especially against the Jaguar secondary. That's not good at all. All right. Next, we got TJ Hawkinson over receiving yards. I got it at 41 and a half. This is all about TJ Hawkinson. We know when he's fully healthy, he's a top 5 tight end in this league. All right. And I remember a couple weeks ago, we did a segment and I said bet on TJ Hawkinson because he started getting his reps, right? Because he came back from injury. Well, he missed that week. And the very next week, which was last week, he had 7 catches on 9 targets for 114 yards, and he only played two thirds of the snaps. So he's still getting more snaps under his belt, and which means he's going to play more, and that's the most playing time he had all year. So if he's going to play the full game, which he should by now, he's going to definitely go with 41 and a half yards. I feel like that is too low for TJ Hawkinson. All right, so go ahead and take TJ Hawkinson over 41 and a half receiving yards. All right, who you got next?
Yes, sir. So next I got Derrick Henry over point 0.5 touchdowns. Derrick Henry, he didn't get in the end zone last week, but he's been getting in the end zone every single week this year. So I think he's pissed off right now. He didn't get in the end zone. I think it's going to be a bloodbath down there in Baltimore this week. So I think go ahead, hit him. I think he'll probably cash your bet first quarter.
Yeah, that's an automatic bet. Even though he missed last week, I would still take it this week. All right. Next, now I'm going to I got 2 spreads. All right. So I have 3 player props. I got 2 spreads. The first spread I'm taking is the Broncos minus 5.5. Y'all can take 5.5 or y'all can bump it up. Okay. The Broncos are 6-0 versus teams below 500, and they're winning by an average of 14 points. They're playing the Cleveland Browns. All right, at home, by the way. So I would take this all day. I don't know why the line is so low, but the Broncos have shown that when they play teams that are worse than them or teams below 500, they take care of business. There is no slip ups. All right, so I'm taking Sean Payton and Bo Nix to win by 6 points or more against the Browns on Monday Night Football. All right, who you got next?
Yes, sir. So I got the Bucks over the Panthers money line. This period got the Bucks just killing the Panthers. The Panthers are they're tanking for the first pick, obviously, and the Bucks. It's a must-win game. They have a couple harder games on their schedule. They can't afford to lose this game if they're trying to win their division or if they're trying to make the playoffs.
Yep. So you pick them for the importance of the game. Well, I'm going with the Rams over the Saints -2.5. Y'all can bump this line a little bit, not too much. I put it at like -7. All right, because of the importance of this game. The Rams got to win this game. The Rams lost last week to the Eagles. Now they're behind the division. The Seahawks and the Cardinals are at the top right now. And the Seahawks are trying to run away with it. So I think the Rams have to win this game. And I think they can do it in dramatic fashion. I think this offense, we know how explosive it is with Puka and Cooper and Kyron Williams and Matthew Stafford. We know, right? And it's a must-win game. Like I said, the Saints this year have been 1-5 versus teams 500 or better. And the one win was against the Falcons. All right, so I think we can take advantage of that, and we can take the Rams. One is the Saints team that I don't know how you feel, but I feel like y'all should try and position yourselves better for next year's draft. All right, because of y'all got a lot y'all got to figure out. So I think that y'all should kind of start losing games a little bit. How you feel about that, real quick? You think y'all should start winning games, keep winning games, or try to lose them?
Yeah, I 100% think we should just start losing because we're 4-7. You know, we're at 4-7. We have the 10th pick in the draft right now, so we have to get a lot worse if we're trying to get a top 5 pick or whatever. And I just feel like in order to make the playoffs, you have to make the playoffs at 10-7 at least. And if we lose a game throughout the rest of the year, we're out the playoffs. So I just feel like we should just tank now to start losing.
Yeah, so because of that as well, I'm taking the Rams to win by more than 2.5. I feel like the offense is this good. 2.5 is nothing, so go ahead and take that spread. All right, you got one more? Or is that it?
That was fine, sir.
All right, we good.
Yes,
All right,
sir.
we're gonna move on to our week 13 picks. Look, I'm 112 and 71 on the year. All right, that's pretty good if you ask me. So let's go ahead and keep this hot thing going. Look, I picked the Lions, the Cowboys, the Packers, and the Chiefs. I'm 4-0 right now for this week. Let's try and get a perfect slate. All right, first we got the Chargers and Atlanta. Who you got?
Yes, sir. So I got the Chargers beating Atlanta. They're coming off a tough loss, and I think that Chargers defense is legit. And I also think, as you said last week, Justin Herbert, he's learning how to use his weapons. That Chargers offense is turning into a passing offense now. They're opening up lanes. I think they'll go into Atlanta and get the win.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. I think they play some on IR.
Yes, sir.
Just today. So with that, if this was the Chargers we saw in the first 5 weeks, I would say that's a big problem because J.K. Dobbins is playing really, really good. And this is a run first offense. But like you said, as of late, they started to pass the ball a lot. And he's starting to find his weapons in Lab McConkey, right? Quentin Johnston, who's, he's sometimey. And then Will Dissly, the tight end. So he's getting the ball out, he's spreading it around. But I think this Atlanta team is just not that good. I think I was wrong for picking them to win. Well, they might win the division just because of the division, right? But this team is not good. We saw them get blown out by the Broncos. It's not a good team. So the Chargers team, after losing against the Ravens on Monday Night Football, they should bounce back and go ahead and get this W in Atlanta. All right. Next, we got the Steelers at Cincinnati. Tyrell, who you got?
Yes, sir. So I got the Bengals winning this game, but the only reason I got the Bengals winning this game is because it's just a must-win game. They've been losing a lot of games, and I just feel like I said a couple minutes ago, the worst record you can have and make the playoffs now with 7 seeds is 10-7. The Bengals right now are 4-7, and I think Joe Burrow is not missing the playoffs. And I think especially in the AFC, you gotta at least have 10-7. So six game win streak incoming for the Bengals.
Okay. I respect your logic only because you're saying this is a must win game. I respect it. But for everybody out there that's picking the Bengals because they think they're better than the Steelers, I suggest you stop right now. Stop it. I'm taking the Steelers in this game, and this is why. The Bengals are favored for one. So go ahead and attack that money line for those of y'all that like gambling because the Bengals are 0-6 versus teams 500 or better. They have not beat a team 500 or better. All their wins will come against the Panthers, the Giants, the Browns, and the Raiders. So why are the Bengals favored? I don't know. This is a team where Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase are having the best seasons of their careers, but they're still losing games. That's not equating to wins. And at this point of the season, I believe you are what your record says you are. They're 4-7, so they're a 4-17. So I'm taking the Steelers to win this game on the road against Cincinnati. Like I'm offended that the Bengals are favorite. But I respect your logic because you're saying that they want to get in the playoffs. They got to win this week. I agree 100%. They lose this week, it's definitely over. But I thought it was over a couple weeks ago, and they've been proving my point. All right. Next we got the Cardinals at the Vikings. Who you got?
Yeah, so I got the Cardinals winning this game. Like I said earlier in the season, I really don't think the Vikings are that good. Like the statement you just made a couple seconds ago, your your record is what you are. I don't think the Vikings are 9-2 good.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
That good. And I just like I said last week, I think Kyler Murray is a really good player. I think the Cardinals are a pretty good team. They're playing together more than anything right now. I think they go into Minnesota and get it done.
Okay. Now, like you say, I just said you are what your record says you are, but there are some exceptions, right? For those of us that look below the surface, beneath the surface, right there at 9-2 right now. So for those of us that look past that, we see it they're not a 9-2 football team. Like this Vikings team, Sam Darnold has not been playing that good as of late. And they actually been winning a lot of close games lately too. So I got the Cardinals winning this game. And the funny thing is, I don't believe in the Cardinals. Like I think the Cardinals aren't that good, but I think the Vikings eventually are going to lose a game because they haven't been playing that well as of late. And the Cardinals have to win because of how tight that NFC West is. So this to me is a huge game for both teams, right? If you're the Vikings, you want to win and stay afloat with the Packers and the Lions. And if you're the Cardinals, you want to win so you can kind of control your own destiny. The Seahawks beat you last week, which hurt a lot. But I do think that you want to keep winning games so you have a chance to win the division. So this is a huge game, but I'm gonna go with Arizona at Minnesota. All right. Next we got the Colts and the Patriots. Tyrell, who you got?
Yeah, so I got the Colts coming through and winning this game. I think Anthony Richardson is the better player. I think he went against a really good Lions team last week, and the Lions team that he went against last week, they usually blow teams out. They only beat them 24-6 this time. I think the Colts team is a lot better than what they put on paper this year. So I got them going through and winning against the Patriots, and I also think the Patriots are tanking. So I think they're looking for draft order for next year.
Yep, I agree with all your logic there. I'm going with the Colts to win this game. The Patriots aren't a good team. They have Drake May, and that's literally it. The job is to go and get him weapons for next year. And the best way to do that, like you said, is to kind of tank. And I know we hate to hear that in sports, but sometimes for teams, when you know you don't have a chance this year, you got to get the best pick available. And to me, you do that by start losing some games. Hey, bench Drake May. Bench him for the rest of the year. Keep him set, keep him healthy to go into next year with weapons. But I got the Colts winning this game with ease. All right. Next we got the Seahawks at the Jets. Who you got?
I got the Seahawks winning. The Jets are the team that they've proven to be so far this year. They're not a good team. Their locker room isn't together right now. Their coaching staff isn't together right now. Their ownership isn't together right now. So I just think the Seahawks are definitely coming to New York and take advantage of this game 100%.
I can see a scenario where Geno Smith goes out here and throw a bunch of interceptions and they lose this game. I can see it. Because to me, Geno Smith right now, he's riding on a high horse. They beat the 49ers. Remember, he had a walk-off touchdown where he ran the end zone. They also just beat the Cardinals in a big game. Like, it looks too good right now for Seattle. They're not winning this division, so to me, this will be a loss. But I would be foolish to pick the Jets. I just can't. Like you said, there's too much going on. Aaron Rodgers talking about maybe he'll come back next year, maybe he won't. Right, they're having problems with their coaching staff, the front office. They just fired their GM. Like it's too much turmoil in this organization for me to pick them to win a football game. So I'm gonna go with the Seahawks, unfortunately, to beat the Jets. All right. And next we got the Titans and the Commanders. Who you got?
I got the Commanders. They dropped two straight. I think, like you said, you think they're frauds. I think they're the real thing. I think Jaden Daniels is that guy. I think Cliff Kingsbury has that guy running the offense really, really good. I think they'll bounce back this week from the two L's.
Think they'll bounce back, huh?
Yes, sir.
I think they'll keep falling. I got the Titans win this game. We saw the Titans go to Houston and get upset. So I would not be shocked if the Titans went to Washington and got an upset over the Commanders. All right, the Commanders, like I said, Jaden Daniels have proven to me that he will be a good quarterback in this league, no doubt about it. I'm not doubting that. But some teams, you can't be this successful this fast. This is why I said they were frauds. I just don't see how that roster was 6-2, 7-2, wherever they were at the time. I just don't see how they were, and they started losing games. So I got to lose it again to the Titans. A big
I
game. The Titans aren't the pushover. What you say?
I understand that, sir, 100%.
You know what I'm saying? Okay.
But the Titans versus Texans game last week, that was a division game, just like the Steelers versus Browns game. Like
That's true. That's true.
You can't say because the Browns beat the Ravens and they beat the Steelers, they're a good team. Like, can't nobody say that. It's a division game.
That's true.
So, but I 100% understand your take. I actually agree with you too. The Titans are way better than what they put on paper.
Their record. Yeah. The only reason that they're in this situation is because of the quarterback. Literally, Will Levis has literally thrown games away, like single handedly. Right, his defense is legit. Nobody's talking about it, but his defense is pretty good. So I got the Tigers upsetting the Commanders. But I got what you said about the divisional matchup last week. 100%. I got that. All right, next we got the Texans and the Jaguars, a divisional matchup. Who you got?
Yes, sir. So as of right now, Trevor Lawrence isn't playing, so I got the Texans winning. And like I said earlier, I think CJ Stroud play a lot better compared to how he's been playing the last couple of weeks. But if Trevor Lawrence does play, I think the Jaguars will come out here and upset the Texans. Because I think that Jaguars team is a lot better than they put on paper, and all they were missing was better quarterback play.
Okay, I'm going with the Texans. This is a must-win game, and not even a must-win game. This is a must-blowout game. You got to win by more than two possessions. I This Texans team is giving me that they have flaws. Right, they have a lot of flaws. CJ Stroud has hit a second-year wall. Like this is not the same CJ Stroud from last year. It's just not. And don't tell me nobody can tell me that losing Stephon Diggs is what kind of messed him up. That's not possible. I think if you're a really good quarterback and you have two good weapons, is Tank Dell that good? It's You don't know either, right? I thought last year we saw really good flashes, and this year he's been average at best, right? So maybe I jumped on this team a little too quick, but I thought it was gonna be taking care of business against teams like this, right? And putting up really good games against really good teams. And to me, that loss to the Titans, I understand it's a divisional matchup. I got it, 100%. But I gotta look at you sideways a little bit, And like you said, they don't blow out teams. You even said last week when we did our picks that game was gonna be close against the Titans because you said they didn't blow out the Cowboys, right? They can't blow out teams. Well, you have to blow out the Jaguars, especially as we're getting closer to the playoffs. You got to get your swag. You can only get your swag by beating these good teams by a lot. So I need to see CJ Stroud have a really good game against a bad Jaguars secondary. The secondary is bad, right? Like you said, Jaguars have more talent than people think, but that secondary is not good at all. Nico Collins will have a big day. Joe Mixon have a big day. Go win this game by more than a possession at least. All right. Next we got the Rams and the Saints. Who you got?
I got the Rams winning. Like you said earlier, I think the Saints are fighting for positioning, even though they're coming off two straight
Mm-hmm.
wins. But I think the Rams, even though they're coming off two straight L's, it's a must-win game, like you said.
Yep. Like you said, must win game. The Rams cannot lose this game. They just can't. I thought they was gonna beat the Eagles last week. They didn't, and then they dropped the game to the Dolphins at home, which they should not have. So they're behind right now. They cannot lose this game. Like literally, they lose this game, the season's over. And I don't see Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford going to New Orleans, a controlled environment, right? They play in the dome, so no weather, no problems. They should be able to put on a show. They should. All right, so I got the Rams winning that game. Next, we got the Bucks and the Panthers. Who you got?
The Buccaneers and they should kill the Panthers 100%.
Hey, we got to give it up for Bryce Young, though. He's been playing really good the past couple of weeks, especially a quarterback that got benched earlier this year for Andy Dalton, right? For you to come back and play really good, you almost beat the Chiefs, almost. And the 2 weeks before that, you won. He's playing really good football. He's showing that he has potential to be this franchise quarterback that we thought he would be. But I'm going with the Panthers. Surprisingly, I'm going with the Panthers, bro. I think the Bucks to me they're beatable. Let's just put it like that. They're beatable. In a game like this, they're beatable. If this team can take the Chiefs to the wire, down to the wire, I believe they can put up a fight and beat the Bucks. I'm going out on the limb. You got to pick upset sometimes. Right, you gotta pick upsets. This is my upset of the week. I got the Panthers over the Bucks. All right. Next we got game of the week for sure. The Eagles and Baltimore Ravens. Who you got?
Ooh, it's a battle of the Dirty Birds. I got the Ravens winning though. I think the Ravens got the better coach. They got the better quarterback. They got the better defense too. And I think they got the better weapons also. So I got Lamar Jackson winning this game because the Steelers right now they only lost 3 games, and in order for them to compete with the Steelers, they have to. This is a must-win game. So I definitely got the Ravens winning.
Yep. Once again, I'm the kind of person where I will respect your opinion if you're valid on where you're coming from. You're valid. You said the Bengals should win because they have to win in order to make a playoff run, and you said the Ravens got to win because they got to try to get back in the hunt for the division. But I'm going with the Eagles. I think the Eagles have put. I thought that their win streak was going to end last week, but this Eagles team is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, not pretty good. They're really good. As of late, Saquon Barkley's making the case for MVP. He's making a case. Came off a 200-yard rushing game, right? He's opening up the pass for Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Yes, Devontae Smith might not play, but you still got Dallas Goedert. And to me, Jalen Hurts, ever since that bye week, he's been playing really good football. He's not turning the ball over, and he's getting the ball in the end zone. So I think it's gonna be a really good game. Not saying a blowout, not saying nothing like that. It might come down to the wire, but I'm gonna pick the Eagles to go on the road and make a statement. It's a statement game. You made a statement last week with the Rams. Make another statement and go and beat the Baltimore Ravens. All right, and not only make a statement, but help me out as a Steelers fan. Go beat the Ravens, keep them off our back a little bit. All right. Sunday night football, we got the 49ers and the Bills. Brock Purdy might be playing. So who you got?
I'm going upset alert. I'm going upset alert. Just like you said, you got to pick some upsets. And I don't think this Bills team is that good.
Oh,
Yeah, they
okay.
beat the Chiefs, but Josh Allen just has a knack of beating Patrick Mahomes during the regular season. Patrick Mahomes never beats Josh Allen during the regular season. And if you go back and look at the Bills games this year, they really haven't beat any good teams. They beat up on the bad teams, and earlier this year, the Texans beat up on them. The Texans was one of the only good teams they played this year, and they really beat up on them. So I think this Bills team hasn't really been tested, and I think they'll get a real big testing this week. I got the 49ers winning, even with Nick Bosa out, even with Trent Williams out. I think they have too many good players, and they're just a better coach team.
And I'm surprised you ain't say it. This is a must-win game for the
It's a
49ers if they want to make a
must
run.
win game, must win game.
100%. If they want to make a run, which I don't think they will, but if they want to, they got to win this game. And this is potentially one of them Christian McCaffrey games. We haven't seen Christian McCaffrey have a big game yet since he's been back. Right? And I would assume the more that he gets the ball, the better he's going to get. So you're right. The 49ers could definitely win this game, but I'm going with the Bills only because of what you said at the end. Right? Missing Nick Bosa, once again, that's big. We saw it last week against the Packers. No Nick Bosa, the defense struggles. All right, so this week, no Nick Bosa, you're gonna get Josh Allen who can put up points. I think defense gonna struggle enough, and I think that they're gonna. And it's in Buffalo. If it was in San Francisco, I might have gone with you, but it's in Buffalo. Sunday night football. I'm gonna go with the Bills. All right, and then on Monday night to close out the week, we got the Browns at the Broncos. Who you got?
I got the Broncos winning because of what you said earlier. The Browns have they're not a good team. They only beat the Steelers, they only beat the Ravens, and the Broncos are undefeated when they're going against teams that are below 500.
Yep, this is it. This is one of them games where Sean Payton will take care of business. That's one thing I like about this Broncos team. You talked about the Ravens, right? They lost to the Browns. The Steelers lost to the Browns, right? The Chiefs almost lost to the Raiders, almost lost to the Panthers. Those are good teams that against bad teams, they'll throw one, right? They'll lose one. But this Broncos team, when they go against a bad team, they're not losing the game. They gonna take care of business. That's what I like most about them is that when they play a team that's 500, they might lose, but when they play a team that's worse than them, they're going to beat them as they should. And they might even beat some teams above 500. You saw what they did against Atlanta, killed them. And Atlanta 6-5. All right, so I got the Broncos winning this game at home, and it should be with ease. This Browns team is not that good. Don't be fooled by what y'all saw last week against Pittsburgh. All right. But that is it for today's episode. All right, I'm going to get y'all up out of here. Once again, I pray y'all had a great Thanksgiving. Tyrell, how was your Thanksgiving?
It was real good. Had a lot of turkey, had a lot of food, and how was yours though?
Hey, it was good, man. As long as I'm with the family and we got good food, I am just fine. And football was on, so you know me, I had a ball, all right. But that is it for today, season 3, episode 20. I'm gonna see y'all next week for episode 21 with Jared. He'll be back in the building. All right, but much love from you boys, your best, and your boy Tyrell. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. We out.
Yes, sir.